Hey everyone, OldJude here doing a video, 400 NL video for LegoPoker.com. Um, and it seems as though there's a good few pretty decent regulars at these tables, so hopefully we can get ourselves into some interesting spots there. I just doubled up this fishy type guy with an overpair to his trips, so hopefully he's going to give me back some of those chips. On this turn, I think he will fold most of his medium pairs if I bet, and if I check, he's going to bet. Hopefully, he's going to bet all of his kings. So I'm going to check it to him, and I think I'm just going to check raise the river as well if he checks behind in the turn, because again, I don't really think he pays off another bet if he doesn't have an ace or a king, and I think he bets those hands if I check it to him. So I'm just going to check. I get 3-bet small here by Tilter. I don't know who this is, but I'm going to 4-bet with queens. Queens would be probably near the bottom of my 4-bet value range here, but I think it's more likely that he knows who I am than I know who he is. So Frank bet 64, and I think I'm going to call and then check raise all in the river. Though you can't really trust people to. I think checking queens here is best. You can't really trust people to bet a king here every time. I see people checking behind the king X here, which is really annoying, but it happens. But I'm going to check anyway and just hope he bets. So I think I'm just going to check fold this flop to Tilter. I just get owned so badly if I continue here. If I decide to call, give him options to do whatever he wants basically to me, and you know, I think I just save myself a lot of grief if I just fold. And I'm obviously raising all in against Frank, and I'm checking behind his flop against ID Rock because I think this is a flop he's going to check fold a lot of the time, and I think it's a flop he's going to check fold a lot of the time, and I can get the money in by the river even if I check the turn, and hopefully if he doesn't have anything he may catch up on the turn. I'm going to bet the turn for value because I would bluff this card a lot, and I think he definitely continues if he happens to have some two-pair or overpair hand, because this bet looks a lot like a bluff. So snapping off with ace king suited here and getting good. I think I'm going to check behind here. I think I'd just get one street of value when I bet the turn here against ID Rock. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to check behind. I don't think he pays off again. Unless he has wow, I lost the absolute minimum there. But still, not being results oriented, I still think betting the turn, checking behind the river is a better line than either betting the turn and betting the river, or just that's it, I suppose. But sorry, I'm playing 4 tables here, and maybe I'm a little overrun. Maybe I can kill one of these tables. Okay, this is a kind of an interesting spot. I mean, I don't really fold ace-king suited pre-flop for 100 big blinds, but yeah, there's a lot of strength being shown here. But the thing about ace-king suited as opposed to, say, jacks or queens is that you have blockers to aces and kings, so there's a pretty big discrepancy there, and I'm just going to call it off. My ace-king's in pretty good shape, and going to scoop it, which is nice. I'm running good for the video, which is good. So per meow meow opens the button here, and I see this a lot. Players min raising the button, and if you're in the big blind with some kind of, I mean, obviously 9-2 suited as a fold, but if it was something like 9-5 suited or 9-6 suited, there's an argument for continuing with your hand, you know, by calling or 3-betting or whatever. And it's very difficult to know when somebody min raises, because it's kind of a new thing, what kind of hands to continue and in what way. I'll go back to that, but here Wigan has 3-bet me, and as far as I can tell, I have a lot more hands in him, but I lost my database when I got my hard drive changed, and he's a pretty nitty player as far as I can tell, so definitely not continuing with Queen 8 suited there. Yeah. So okay, some guy doubled my min raise, which I'm never ever folding to unless he's like an insanely short stack or a very very nitty player. There's no point in betting here. I wasn't calling pre-flop with the intention of betting any flop. I'm just going to check behind, and I might bet turn and river because I don't really see him checking the flop and the turn with an overpair. but he could definitely check call the turn with, say, ace king or ace queen, but I don't think he calls the turn and river bet with those hands. So I'm going to bet biggish on the turn and then bet big on the river and hope to get a fold out of those hands. The river is a very good card for me because if he does have ace king or ace queen, it makes it like pretty much an impossible call. I don't have to bet too big either. This is fine. 58. This is kind of an interesting spot here at 6-7 suited against this guy who's only half stack. I think I'm just going to 3-bet and obviously fold if he jams. My plan worked against this Turgi guy. Yeah, I think checking flop and betting turn, betting river is good because people on that kind of a flop where someone's got ace king or ace queen and they've got a wheel draw and 2 overs, they'll be inclined to call 1 bet and then just leave it at that, or maybe call flop and turn, but pretty much never call turn and river with just ace high. So I think checking the flop and betting the turn and betting the river is a good line to take there. Here I'm going to obviously 3-bet Breda Broad with ace king suited. Actually thinking a smaller 3-bet might be good. I've been experimenting with like trying to keep all my bets really, really small. My 3-bets, my 4-bets, even my opens very, very small, and seeing where that takes me, because it seems like that's sort of the way poker's evolving. You know, a few years ago, even in online tournaments, people were all opening to 3x or 3.5x, even the regulars, and then it just got smaller and smaller, and now pretty much nobody opens to any more than like 2.7x. So, and it's sort of that way in cash games as well. I think in the old days, people used to open at like 4 or 5x pre-flop, and now it's like 3x or pot at the most. So, you know, maybe it'll just keep going in that trend. So I've sort of been trying to see what happens if I open, if I keep my sizing smaller, and see if the skill element is any more prevalent in that with that. So here, this is a very good spot for my 6-7 suited to call this very small 3-bet. On this kind of a flop, it's a very dry flop, and if he'd c-bet, I'd probably call 1 just to hope he shuts down with his bluffs because it's such a dry board, or to pick up some kind of 2-pair or trips hand to bust him if he has an ace. But as it's played, I'm just going to check it down because I don't really see him check folding, you know, queens, kings, or jacks very much. And if he has an ace or a 10, he's obviously not going anywhere. So if my showdown value is good, that's the only way I'm winning this pot, I think. And definitely not calling the river. I don't really see him taking this line as a bluff. I think that if he's bluffing, he'd just bet the flop or the turn instead of waiting until the river to do it. Here I'm going to call him in raise because this player seems very weak, and it's a min raise, and I'm in the big blind, so I'm just going to call. I'm going to dunk into him 3 times if he lets me, and if he raises the flop, I'm just going to ship on him. Just because the stack sizes are very good for it, and weak fish usually make the mistake of calling way, way too light on earlier streets with no plan of what to do on later streets, and let themselves sort of just burn money that way. So he called the flop and the turn very quickly. I'm thinking his most likely hand is some sort of an ace-x, which I definitely don't think he folds. I think he probably would have folded a 9 to my turn bet, so I think I'm just going to give this one up and just accept that I would have gotten all of his money if I had hit a flush. Okay, well, he called the flop with absolutely nothing, which you can't really, you know, count on. Definitely folding this against Perm Meow Meow. Even though he seems like a pretty good, solid regular, he doesn't seem to get out of line too much, and he plays pretty tight. Also, this guy's stack size, with his stack size, I doubt Perm Meow Meow was bluffing there. It's most likely a value 3-bet. So here Jot Jot opens, and I'm just going to 3-bet him just because the stacks are very good for a light 3-bet here. If he has some sort of hand that he was opening light with, it's going to be very, very hard for him to continue in any way. So I think it's just good to light 3-bet people there in that spot. So this J to Shark has been opening different sizes on the button. He opened to 11, 10, and now 9. I think I'm just going to muck this. I don't know anything about him, and I feel like I can't really exploit him. I don't know how to exploit him right now, so I'm just going to not mess around. I'm flatting him in raise from Perm Meow Meow to the big blind with Jack Queen offsuit. Definitely any other line I think just is terrible, and I'm shoving on Turgi here. I'm just going to fold King Queen here against tilter. It's just going to be pretty hard for me to play if I continue, so I'm just going to muck it. And I'm not going to bluff at this pot against Per Meow Meow, because when he checks behind the ace-high flop, he usually has some showdown value, and I don't think I get him to fold very much, because when I flat his min raise out of the big blind, it sort of X's out a lot of potential hands that I could be going for 2 streets of value with. So I'm just going to fold it. Hands like big aces and stuff. So this is the second time tilters 3-bet me, and I think that with the stack size being so deep, I can really go to town on him if I just 4-bet him and just basically play really aggressively post flop. I think it's a pretty big mistake for him to be 3-betting out of the big blind with any hand that he's just snap folding to a 4-bet with. The reason is, if he's snap folding to a 4-bet, his hand must have had like almost no playability, given that if he had something like Jack Queen suited or 10 Jack suited or one of those sorts of hands, he'd almost certainly flat my small 4-bet. And if his hand has so little playability, he definitely doesn't want to be playing a pot against a good regular out of position so deep. So I think he should definitely just be whatever he had. I don't think he should be light 3-betting there. I'm just going to fold these 2 hands. I don't really see any point in continuing. I see bet bottom pair here, and a lot of people would check this back, and I understand why they check it back, because you have enough showdown value, you don't get called by worse, and that's a fine argument. But the reason I would be betting the flop there is basically to to end the pot, to protect, and also if I pick up 2 pair of trips, it's sort of disguised because I don't really think he expects me to see bet bottom pair too much.